Hello friends, and welcome to my garden. This is April 1st, 2021. So what I wanted to do is give you a little tour of what I've been working on, the projects that I've been kind of, trying to get started. It is April 1st, this is not a joke, but what I wanted to do is actually kind of do garden updates throughout the season. So I was going to do a garden update on April 1st. I was going to do a garden update on May 1st, June 1st, July 1st, etc. Just to kind of see how things are progressing. So I'm trying to expand the garden a little bit this year. I want to push myself to do a little bit more, interesting projects and see how it comes out. I have a very small little deck garden, as you'll see. So yeah, let me get started and we can just show you kind of where things are on April 1st, and then we can come back a month later and compare. So stick around. So the first project I've been working on, and this is the one that I think I'm most excited about, so I'll start here, is this elderberry. So I don't know if you can read this, but this is a elderberry bush that I got on Etsy for about $10 actually. It was sold in a dormant state, so it was basically just sticks, but it also had a nice root system, so it was sold with the roots intact. So it just rained, that's why it's a little bit like kind of watery up here, but it's kind of hard to see, but we're already getting some growth. I planted this about 2 weeks ago, and we got a little bit of green growth in some of the tips here already. So this thing's already getting happy, I got a really big bucket for it. The pot was actually from Walmart, and I think it was about $20, but I've seen it as low as $5, believe it or not, for this size. So I think I actually overpaid by paying $20 for this. So the whole project with shipping, maybe about 20 for the pot, 20 for the plant, including the shipping. Maybe $40-$45 for the whole thing. So hopefully, this thing's gonna get big, and we're starting to see some flowers with it. My goal is hopefully by summertime, maybe we can get a few flowers and actually try and make it an elderberry cordial. So yeah, we'll see. I'm gonna keep an eye on it, and then I'll keep you guys posted. So moving on, this is a Hosta, and as you can see, it's already coming up. Hostas are basically unkillable growing machines. They outcompete weeds. So Hosta is a Japanese plant, but it's very, very common here in the eastern United States. I was given this as a gift from a friend. This is the 3rd year I think it's come up, and all I've done is stick it in a pot and basically forgotten about it, and it just grows so vigorously. I mean, you can see all of the this little I guess candles or whatever starting to kind of peek through. It's just growing so vigorously. I'm so excited for it, and it's just a showstopper every year. Hostas are great. I really recommend them. They grow in any type of light condition. They grow in the shade, they grow in full sun, they grow in pots, they grow in grounds. Wherever you put them, they grow very well. So if you're looking for a pot that if you're bad at killing things, I recommend Hostas because they're pretty much unkillable. Moving over here, kind of hard to see right now, but this is a peony. So this is a bowl of beauty peony. Let me see if I can just throw a picture up to show you what it would look like once it blooms, what the flowers are going to look like. So we're getting a lot of little growth coming up. So this comes back every year too, kind of like the Hosta. So this will be our first year having it come up in the spring. So we got this we got it kind of late in the season. I think it was like around July. It was kind of late when we got this and put it in a pot. So nice thing about peonies is they can give you pretty much all year long. They can give you some enjoyment, When they come up in the spring, they come up like little buds like this. In the summer, they become really full, beautiful flowers. In the autumn, they actually drop their flowers, but their leaves turn a beautiful golden bronze. So their leaves actually change in the autumn, in the fall. So really, really pretty plant. I'm really excited to see how big this gets this year. So we're gonna keep a real close eye on that. So these are some various projects that I haven't really gotten around to fixing yet. This was like a succulent that my wife had grown. It actually grew exquisitely well. Like, it was pouring over this pot. Then we cut it back pretty aggressively. It didn't really do that great over the winter, but we do still have some green growth on it. So I'm just kind of hoping that once it gets settled, it starts to regrow in itself. You know, it might be able to reestablish itself. So we're just going to keep an eye on that, be patient with it. This was a type of Digitalis, so a foxglove. It was a cross like with a Canary Island one. So last year it got pretty high and it had some pretty decent flowers. I'd say it was about maybe that high. So we'll see how this goes. I'm not optimistic that this is going to grow again. So typically, from what I've read, Digitalis are biennial, but they can be perennial in certain climates. I don't think our climate is good enough for it to be perennial. But, you know, keep an eye on it for a couple weeks, see what it does, and if not, you know, we'll move on. This was a thyme from last year that died, so I need to clear that out, and I'm going to replant that with some new herbs. This is a mint. So I actually got mint from the supermarket, like in one of those little plastic containers where you just buy some just to use for like one meal. And I had like one stick of it left, so I just put it in water. And it grew, you know, roots, and so I put it into a pot. And I mean, look at it, like this was last year. It died completely. It came back already. It's like already vigorously growing on the side here. I don't even know what variety. That smells so good. I don't even know what variety of mint this is, but you know, mint is a weed. It grows like a weed. It's impossible to kill. But you can make some delicious mint juleps with it, so we're gonna do that later. This was a basil that grew pretty big, but it has died back. This is pretty much dead. I'm gonna have to delete that and start again, dig up all the roots. Here are the pea plants that I potted up a couple days ago. They have not germinated yet. However, I am optimistic that they will in the next week, so we'll keep an eye out for that. This is my rock collection. Hopefully it doesn't grow more than this. This is a lavender. This might be the oldest plant on the deck here, actually. So this lavender I got it, I think, when we first moved in. So it's been, I think this is its third season. So it is just, I mean, it's a really great little plant. I mean, it's bushy, it's kind of ugly, but I love it. Smells like delicious, you know, lavender on your fingers. You can use it to make tea, you can use it to season food, you can do anything with it. I just heavily pruned it. It was out to here. It was huge, this thing. So we've been able to cut it back, and you know, it's got all this nice green growth on top of it. It's doing well. It's in this handsome little purple pot, kind of, you know, meaning with the lavender theme. And I expect this to give us, you know, a nice little showpiece, add some nice smells to the garden over the next several months. This is an azalea. The azalea, I got this from a garden store on clearance this year. Apparently it likes to flower like 3 times a year. It's one of these special varieties that likes to bloom pretty frequently. My plan is for this, actually, I like to kind of do amateur bonsai. And I was thinking about maybe cutting it back once it grows and gets comfortable. It's got a pretty interesting trunk. I don't know if you can really see it here. Yeah, because this thing's in the way. Let me see if I can get rid of that. Sorry. Yeah, it's got a nice little trunk there. It kind of looks tree-ish, you know. So, but my plan is just to let it grow this season. I'm not going to probably even do that till next year. I'm going to repot it. That's the plan. But potting azaleas, you need to use a special acidic soil because you know, azaleas prefer slightly acidic soil, so that's going to be a little bit of a project I'll have to get into later. But for now, it's just kind of happy in its pot. It's getting, you know, a lot of rainwater and fresh sunlight, and so we'll see if we get a couple flowers out of this. That'd be really nice. This is for an upcoming video. I just went to the garden store. We're going to plant these out. This is some nice lettuce up here, and we got a couple a couple strawberry plants. The entire thing was less than $20, so we'll be able to plant these out and see how we do. Alright, that pretty much does it for the deck garden. You know, it's still early in the season. It's April 1st. We're still moving things around and planning about what we're going to do. I have a little bit of a plant addiction right now, so, you know, I'm trying to rein that in. The big goal, I think, coming in, I don't see too many huge additions here. I think the one thing I would really like to do, and which we're going to start doing once the last date of frost occurs around May 15th, is we're going to put out some tomatoes, and so look forward to that. Let me take you to some other parts of the garden now. We got a little one in the front yard I can show you, and yeah. Here's some cats. They're not part of the garden. They're not allowed in the garden. Not yet, anyway. Right? Hmm? So this is our front shade garden. I call it the shade garden because it only gets about 3 hours of sunlight. These front pots in, like, you know, the best of circumstances. This was a bunch of flowers from last year that have died back. We need to clear this out. I'm actually thinking about putting in some lettuce into these because I'm curious if it will do pretty well here, and there's a lot of growing space here, so I may consider using that for some lettuce. These are the pride and joy of my garden every year. So these are some beautiful hellebores. They're, you know, brilliant this year. They are, you know, standing up tall. They're beautifully white. They've definitely thickened up a little bit. So hellebores are self-seeding. So I think we did get a couple more. Get back there. Look at all that growth. They have beautiful evergreen leaves. So these leaves like never die out pretty much. But they come back every year. And this is this will be the third year we've got these hellebores. So this pot is doing a lot better than this pot, and I think you can tell why. I mean, the level of sunlight is pretty significantly different, but hellebore are fine in the shade, so, you know, they're a great plant to put in the shade. These are the reddish ones that I have. You know, they're trying to open up. They will be soon. You know, they're just taking their time. You know, they definitely prefer being in the sunlight. You can see them kind of leaning over like that, but, you know, those white hellebores are just exploding and they're so beautiful. And this is our overgrown pot here. Wow, this is insane. This is all new growth. This is all English ivy. It is so thick that, I mean, I can barely put my hand through it. And dude, I, you know, was previously enamored with English ivy until I realized that it is horribly invasive. So please don't buy this plant. Don't buy it. Don't plant it unless, you know, you're gonna grow it indoors or you are sure it's gonna stay in a pot. But do not under any circumstances plant this in your garden or as undergrowth. It will just go crazy. It's an invasive plant. It's like a weed, but it is stately and pretty, and I actually love the color of it. I love the leaves. So, you know, I don't take my own advice, you know, but this thing definitely needs to be thinned out. This is a Hosta plant, which is apparently in the ivy family-ish. It's like kind of adjacent to the ivies, but it's got these beautiful, like, you know, bright purple under leaves, and they have a nice splash of color, but this thing is way overgrown. So, I mean, you can tell these are very, very shade-loving. This barely gets any sunlight, and this thing is just exploded. You know, like I said, I would like to probably maybe try and plant some lettuce in the front here, so I'll show you how that goes. But yeah, April 1st and our hellebores are looking pretty good. And so this is the final part of my garden. This is my germination station / greenhouse / windowsill in the house. So much to my surprise, I actually have some peas that have sprouted. These are little peat containing bags where you just drop a seed in. And I mean, within what? Probably a week, we got this much germination already from these peas. These are very shallow, obviously, compared to the ones in the pot. So I am not surprised that they have popped up before the ones in the pot have. Yeah, we got 5 out of the 6 have germinated. which is pretty cool. Let me, this one isn't completely covered, I think, is part of the problem. If you can really see that, so I'm just going to cover this guy back up a little bit. It looks big on the camera, but this is super, super tiny. These are supposed to be chilies. Some Sanaku, I believe, is the variety of chili. They have not grown. Everything's still kind of moist in here, so I don't think I'm ready to order it yet. But anyway, something I'm thinking about, you know, is putting those peas out potentially soon. But yeah, that worked surprisingly well. So this little, you know, station I recommend if you have very limited space and you're trying to germinate some seeds. I have it nice and taped up here only because my cats are very curious, and I have a feeling that they would get into this pretty quickly if I didn't tape it. Alright, so that about does it for our April garden tour. I'm going to put up some new videos over the course of the month. My next project is going to be planting out these lettuces and strawberries, and you guys can join me for that soon. But if not, then just come back in a month and we'll see how the progress has gone. We can check on the elderberry tree and the peony, and then it'll be great. Alright, thanks for watching. See you next time.